If you want to be a good manager, the last thing you want to do is go around firing people. Even if you have an employee who shows up late, leaves early, and doesn't produce any results, firing this employee should never be a surprise. If you have an employee in this situation, you, the manager, could be the problem because you allow it. Let's talk about what you can do to create a productive working environment. Shortly after becoming a manager, you should meet with each of your teams. I preferred to have monthly team meetings. In that meeting, get to know your teams, at least at a high level, and share your expectations both about arriving on time to work and for meetings. As you hold your meetings, share upcoming projects, how your team adds value to the projects, and what is expected. You can share rewards, such as allowing for flex time, like working 4 10-hour days, if the quantity and quality standards are met, as well as consequences, including the possibility of working nights and weekends to meet specific deadlines. Every quarter, I had a few random awards I would give to employees who did something special that was beneficial to the team or organization. I kept it lighthearted and entertaining. Ideally, you should be meeting one-on-one with each of your direct reports, even if you see them every day. This is their time with you. If done right, it can be extremely valuable to both of you. In the meeting, your employee should provide a quick update. What they did since the last time you met, what he or she plans to do between now and the next time the two of you meet, and if there are any roadblocks that your employee foresees that could hinder him or her from achieving the expected results. I'll share the specifics of that format in another video. This is also a time for you to introduce any new projects to your employee and see what the employee is interested in from a career development standpoint. This includes upcoming training events and new projects your employee would like to be involved with in the future. Lastly, this is the manager's time to provide feedback. You may want to review my other video on how to be objective, and you should provide specifics, especially if there is a problem. Remember, it should never be a surprise to terminate an employee, so take this opportunity to provide constructive feedback in a timely manner to change what could be an unfortunate outcome into a productive one. Let's assume there is a problem with your employee. As a manager, you need to specify what the problem is, indicate how it needs to be corrected, when it needs to be corrected by providing a deadline, and identify any consequences. Then, it's your job as a manager to follow up. If the employee didn't meet what you agreed to, give them a warning. If it happens again, they get put on a performance improvement plan. At that point, the employee has 90 days to improve their behavior. I would meet weekly with any employee of mine on a performance improvement plan, and I would allow the employee to invite HR for our discussions. I also had the employee send me an email recapping the conversation to ensure we were both on the same page. I know what I said, but I want to be sure the employee understood what I said rather than what he or she wanted to hear. At the end of the 90 days, it would be very clear as to whether the employee would remain on my team with improved performance or behavior, or they would be terminated. If, at the end of the 90 days, you determine that it's time to terminate your employee, you would hold your regularly scheduled meeting. At that meeting, you provide a summary of the prior 90 days, sticking to the facts as well as the conclusion to terminate the relationship. HR should also be present and reiterate the facts. At the end of the meeting, HR should also explain how the employee's benefits, 401k, etc. are all impacted. While most people probably wouldn't consider firing an employee an art, your delivery is very important. This is a very personal, sensitive experience for the employee, and you should treat it as such. Reiterate how this is not a personal decision, but based on the results of the prior 90 days. You would be a rock star manager if you shared some positives about the employee, offered some suggestions for the type of position where he or she could thrive, and offered to stay in touch to assist in the job search if possible. If this is done correctly and the employee is of a sound mind, this employee-employer relationship can end in a very respectable manner. At the end of the day, always treat your employees with respect and represent yourself professionally. There have been some instances where I've written letters of recommendation for some employees who worked for me that I terminated because they were good people just in the wrong role.